Hey guys, it's your girl Fab with Let's Talk About It Fab. On today's topic, we are discussing grief and healing. I know it's a very sensitive topic, one that I really don't want to rush through, but hoping to be able to usher in a message that can possibly help someone out there who needs it. I am not a professional. I am not a medical professional. I am not a therapist in any shape or form. Just a person who has experienced some losses in my life and in my family. And I just want to share with anyone out there who may be going through a hard time some insight as to what occurred, how I got through it, and where I am today. So, for those of you who know, I lost my dad at a very young age. I believe he was 31 years old. He was murdered in 1991. He was a yellow cab taxi driver, shot and killed in the Lower East Side in Manhattan. I was 12. Actually, I'm just learning that I was not 12. I think I was just like 10 or 11. Um, and the way I dealt with that, and particularly with my dad's loss at such a young age, I didn't know how to process it. I, I didn't know how to process it. Like I mentioned in my other podcasts, because my father was shot and killed, and in my mind, I thought that people who were shot and killed with a gun were people who were bad people, like mean people did that. And I just couldn't process in my mind why someone would want to hurt my dad because he was such a good guy. Why would someone want to hurt him? Um, and I don't know why. I just did not deal with it. I don't remember crying right away. I don't remember um, really feeling anything. I just felt numb. But obviously, shortly after, um, the tears came, the reality that he won't be around and he's not coming home tonight, and things like that started to settle in, and I started to grieve. Um, then it was hard. The loss of my father was hard. Because as a little girl, a young girl, I feel like you look at your dad as your king, your hero, you know, someone that you look up to. And when that person is gone, it kind of leaves a void that no one can really explain. So there was a big void there for me, which definitely played into not only the kind of relationships I got into with people, you know, and particularly men, but also the kind of guys I dated, and some of the abandonment issues that I had led to why I stuck in some situations longer than I should have. Um, the only way I could really describe it, losing my dad at a young age, is there was always a void. And no matter how much mom tried to fill it, friends, family, gifts, toys, food, whatever, no matter how much they tried to fill it and to kind of distract you from feeling sad, I had my moments and I felt sad. So one thing I know, growing up without my father and with the grieving process, I think the process of grieving is important. Even in, your adult life, we have to allow ourselves to feel those negative feelings. Now, I know that, as a parent or as friends and family, you don't want to see each other sad. You don't want to see each other down. And I get that and I understand that. However, I don't think it's a place that we should stay and linger on too long. But the feeling of pain, abandonment, hurt, sadness, we have to feel those things. And we have to get into a habit of allowing each other to feel those feelings. Should we stay there again for a long amount of time? No. How long does it take? I don't know. I don't know. But I know it's not a state that we should dwell in and stay and remain. However, it is a state that we have to go through. We have to start allowing ourselves to simply feel the pain and not try to fill it up with things and people. So again, the time period of losing my dad was really, really tough. But I at that time, I didn't know how to handle it. I was too young. And so I took the route of just kind of sweeping it under the rug, not really talking about it. Anyone who knows me knows that I have never said I'm going to the gravesite to go visit. I don't think anyone really knows when my father's birthday is or the day that he died. I don't commemorate those days. I don't talk about it. I just don't talk about it. So yeah, anyone who knows me would be like, well, yeah, it's just something that she doesn't talk about. What on the flip side is something that I'm dying to talk about, but I realize no one asks me anything. No one probably doesn't want to talk to me about it because they don't want to make me feel uncomfortable or sad. A very traumatic instance, and not everyone handles it the same way. Some of us are very emotional. We can't contain ourselves. Some people are in shock. Some people will hear that someone passed away, and then the next minute they're playing a video game. Like, everyone handles it differently. And it's definitely not a time to judge and say, well, how could you do this when this? Everyone handles it differently. So if I could give one advice, is to kind of let people get into their position of grieving. Allow them to fall into that naturally and get into that naturally. It is good to check up on people and just to make sure they're okay, and always leave a door open. Like, hey, if you're going through something, just know that I'm here. You can talk to me. If you need anything, let me know. Those words are very comforting. But sometimes some people just want to be left alone. So just read the room and offer your assistance any way possible. But again, we just never know how people are going to deal with losses. So read the room, guys. So for me, so growing up, I just always knew that I wouldn't have a dad. I just always knew that he wouldn't be there to protect me. He wouldn't be there to stand up for me. He wouldn't be there to have my back. He wouldn't be there to walk me down the aisle. So again, there was always a gap. And there was always a feeling of abandonment. But I had a great support system. I had great father figures. I had my mom. So it kind of helped alleviate the pain a bit. But, there's no one can really replace your parents, no one can really replace them. And so fast forward in life, in between, I lost my grandmother, my father's mother. In between, I've lost, family members, friends, and things like that. Then I get married in 2011, and I give birth to my son, first child. And he passes away. I would say that going about it the way that I did with my dad just wasn't gonna work this time. This time I knew I was in trouble. And I never really questioned God about anything. I never got angry with God or blamed God or anything like that, but there's something about the innocence of children and how defenseless they are. They can't, defend themselves or anything. That just kind of, softens a person. All my mothers and dads out there, you have a child, you just want to love them and protect them. So losing Jared sorry, I just haven't said his name out loud in a very long time. losing Jared almost broke me. I don't cry on screen, girl. It almost broke me. It almost I'm gonna make it through this segment, I promise you. Losing Jared was life altering for me because it was the first time I asked God why. I asked him why. And I asked him why because I begged him to give him life. So when he died anyway, I wasn't in a good place, y'all. I wasn't in a good place. It shook everything in me. The foundation that I knew I stood on, faith and belief in God, for the first time, I felt it move from under me. But you know, maybe there's someone out there that's gone through this. You ever felt in life where you get so angry at someone that you love a lot, and that person is your source of everything, and you get upset with them, and you turn around to walk away from them, and then you're like, but where am I gonna go? And that's how I felt. I felt like I lost my son, and I was just like, God, you gotta explain this to me. And then, you know, you turn around and you try to see, oh, where else can I bring these emotions, these feelings, this hurt? And you're like, I can't bring it to no one else but you. I was so angry. Because he was my first child, my only child, you know. And I was just like, God, how could you do that? But I had to allow myself to feel. Because my dad, he went to work, he just never came back. But my son, I held him, I kissed him, I snuggled with him. And what made it worse is he passed away with me. I blamed myself for some time because I felt like maybe if I got him to the hospital sooner, this would have never happened. This is a lot of things, and you'll read about it in my book. But this one almost took me out, guys, because I just was like, God, like, why? Why do I not deserve to be a mother? Why do I not deserve to, you know, I already lost my dad. Why do I not deserve to have my son? It was just a bad time. It was just a bad time. And I started to just float with everything. You know, when you just float, he died. People come over, they tell you everything is okay. God is good. God gives. God replaces. God. It was just all of this fantasy, happy go like, don't worry, don't worry. And I'm just like, but I'm hurting. I feel pain. This hurts. Why? You know, and I felt that people just expected me to be just like how my dad died. Just get up, go about life. You know, it was that people pleasing and feeling to perform again. right? So then I started performing. Like, look at me. I just lost my infant son, but look at me. I'm so strong, and I can get up, and I can do this, and I can do that, and I could keep a smile on, because that's what people expected of me. But deep down inside, I know that I was not okay. I was not okay. And when I looked to the left and when I looked to the right, there was just no one that would allow me to grieve. And I know sometimes in the West Indian culture and the Haitian culture, it's just, you know, just in general, people, I don't know, I feel like sometimes people don't want to see you grieve. It's not that they don't want to see you grieve. They don't want to see you sad. But like I said, I do believe that in order to start the healing process, we have to sit in our feelings and feel that pain, process it. So I found myself, I wasn't working at the time, and my husband at the time was working. I found myself getting up from the couch, go to his crib, smelled his clothes, smelled his blankets, where he laid, and then I'd put it down and I'd come back and sit on the couch. And then I'd get up, do the same thing, go to his crib, smell his clothes, smell where he laid, and then go back and sit at the couch. And I think I did this for a couple of days. Then I got to a point where I just wanted to hear silence. Complete, utter silence. I didn't want to hear the TV. I didn't want to watch the TV. I didn't want to hear the sirens. I didn't want to hear people talk. I just didn't want to hear anything. I just wanted to sit in a very silent room and not hear anything. And I think that's when I knew that, Fab, you need to get help. But I didn't know how to. Like I said before, like family, friends, we don't really believe in therapy. And then in my culture and in my, you know, we don't talk. We don't talk. Discuss things, you know, when something traumatic, hurtful, painful happens, it's like this, sweep it on the rug, pretend it never happened, and face the world. I didn't know then. I mean, now we're going to talk about it. Hence, let's talk about it, Fab. But back then, there was no one to talk to. There's no one to talk to. Even if people said that, you know, hey, let's talk, we could talk about it, we could get through it. No, there was no one to talk to. So I sat on the couch and I said a prayer. I said, God, I need you to come into my life and really help me, because I felt myself slipping, guys. I felt myself slipping somewhere very dangerous. And, you know, you read my book and you see how God got me out of that. Grief. Grief is having very deep sorrow over a loss. That's the Webster Dictionary definition of grief. And I feel that we can feel deep sorrow and loss in many different facets of life. It's not just the loss of a child, it could be loss of a job, loss of of finances, losing our health. There's many different losses. And I'm just here to encourage everyone to don't sit too long. Don't sit too long. But you have to dedicate a portion of your life to sitting in that feeling for a little while. It's okay to cry. And this part right here is it's not for the ladies. It's for the men. It's okay to cry. It really is. It's okay to cry. You guys out here, you men out here, you don't have to be tough all the time. You don't have to be tough all the time. It's okay to cry. And I mean that sincerely. It's okay to cry. To everyone, maybe not. But I pray that God will send you someone that you feel safe enough to cry. I feel like crying sometimes is the most liberating feeling there is out there. Sometimes you need a good cry. But maybe you can have that little prayer and say, God, please, just send me someone that I can feel safe with, that I can talk to. And sometimes that's a close friend, but sometimes it's a complete stranger. And this is why I offer my empathetic listening, because there were some times that I went through some things and I just needed a complete stranger to talk to. And it's okay, guys. It's okay to cry. Part of the healing process is talking, or just having someone to listen. And if you feel too overwhelmed with the feelings of sorrow and grief and loss, you definitely need to reach out for help. There are hotlines and there are people that you can talk to about those feelings and emotions. I definitely try my best to let all of my friends and people I come in contact with that, hey, I'm here for you if you need help getting through that feelings of sorrow and loss. But I think that God has a plan for everything. He has a reason for everything. Some things are not God. Some things are just pure evil. But God said he would always be there. He's a very present help in a time of trouble. He's such a good friend. He's such a good friend. He's definitely someone that I talk to all the time. So I don't really have much to say on this segment. It was important to keep it very short. I personally am available for any of my friends out there who ever want to talk to me about loss and deep sorrow, because I definitely know a lot about that. And I feel that God has definitely given me some tools to help myself and help others get through their tough times. Just remember, grief, although it's a process, it's not a state that I believe we should dwell in for too long. Cry, let it out, get those feelings out, and try to find a safe space, a safe person to talk to. Life doesn't get better, but it just gets a little easier when we deal with our grief. And I pray that God helps everyone out there that's going through a tough time. And love you guys. Bye.